Good morning to everybody here in the East. Ready for a morning cup of Joe? In this case, green tea, as I usually drink, decaffeinated green tea, lemon, and a little bit of honey. That's what I got here. What I always have here in my morning cup of Joe. And some people have been enjoying these. Some people have been having a good time with these morning cup of Joes. So I may do it every morning. I'm not sure yet. You can't do it every single morning. We'll talk about this as time goes on here. More people join and so forth. So let's see if anybody joins us. It's always tough getting going in the morning, right? So let's do it. To start with, it's 7:37 a.m. Outside is a bleak, gray, almost black, dark, miserable day. Rain everywhere, wet. I like sunshine. I'm a sunshine guy. I mean, who's not? Who prefers rain to sun anyway? Anybody out there? I don't think so. I do not think so. And yeah, let's see if we can make this a regular thing. But if I make this a regular kind of thing, I expect regular people to show up here in the morning and chat in the comments. Um, yep. So, what's on your so-called minds this morning? Anybody? Um, I realize that here in the USA in the Eastern Time Zone, it's 7:38 a.m. But this goes across the world. Not everybody here has to come on at 7:30 in the morning. There are people out there. UK, for example, it's later. It's mid-afternoon for them. So let's go. Where are y'all? Can definitely see there are some people here, but not as many as I would expect. All right. Is anybody going to leave a comment? Right now, I've got about 11 people watching and not one comment. I need one comment, even if it's just hi. The reason I say that, oh, there we go, because now I know. Thank you, Mal. Thank you, Martin. Thank you, Earth. I had a feeling, Martin, you'd be here, and I welcome you here because, of course, we've been having some texting talk or, comments, written comments, and just going to work, Joe. Oh, you're going to work? I didn't know that. Well, you're going to work? I didn't know you. In Ireland, good old Ireland, Martin's going to work. You can't really talk. Earth is here. Hello, Earth. Uh, yeah. Excuse me. I'm sorry about this. This always happens in the morning. Oh, you're joking. I should know, Martin McGrath. You're joking, right? You're always joking. Everything's a joke. Everything's a wind up, a crank. Everything, including some of the outrageous things you say. In the comments. Yeah, says this was a cup of Joe is a slang for coffee. Yeah, I understand that. This is technically not a cup of Joe because it's green tea. It's not coffee, but it's not even caffeinated. But the whole thing is, I'm doing that just for the title, of this. It's a good title, but I wonder where morning cup of Joe leaves catch up with mayo because I have two things. The difference is when I do a cup of morning, when I do a morning cup of Joe, it's very early in the morning, like this. First thing, first ingredient, early in the morning. Second thing is I got to have a drink like this. I got to have like tea. I guess if I don't have tea and it's not necessarily first thing early in the morning, it'll become a catch up with mayo, I guess. Perhaps catch up with mayo should be once a month or something. I don't know. But anyway, let's go, folks. The only thing is, I wish I could highlight your comments here more. Yeah, Philip Anderson says hello from Australia. It's late night here. Wow, what a different world, huh? It's 7:41 a.m. here, and it's late night there. Um, Mal says, "Are you still buying Elvis?" Well, you're in luck. I mean, yeah, I'm still buying. Let's put it this way: I'm not buying much Elvis anymore. I'm kind of done with Elvis, but once in a while, I'm sure there'll be things that'll come up. Like I picked this up. This is the set that came out. I think this was either in the 80s or the 90s. I'm not sure. Anyway, the first volume of the complete 50s masters. I had this way back in the day. I had this. It was $15 used. I had this way back in the day. It's 5 compact discs with all Elvis's songs from the 1950s, everything he did. And I had this. I still have the discs from when they first came out. I actually threw away the box, and I cannot believe I did that. So I bought this cheap at 15 to have the box. Let's put it that way. Okay. Yes, Earth says, "Welcome to your favorite day of the week." Absolutely. Here, cheers to Monday. Now that I am retired, now that I don't have to work anymore, Monday, without a doubt, is my favorite day of the week. I can hear the people upstairs, my upstairs neighbors, hustling and bustling around, getting ready to go to work. Have a good time. Enjoy your jobs. I don't have to work. I like Monday because it's the start of a work week. Everybody's out of my face. Everybody's going to work and I am off. And all the stores are empty. The parking lots are clear of the malls. Everywhere I want to go is just me and a few others. Cheers to Mondays. Okay. Let's see now. Okay, Woodland Goblin, hello. Says have still have to go to sleep. I was up all night. Man, that's not my scene, man. I don't like staying up all night. 'Cause I feel like a zombie in the morning. Um, Bob Dylan covered Leonard Cohen's "Dance Me to the End of Love" for the first time ever last night. Okay, I'm not a Leonard Cohen guy. Dylan, yes. Leonard Cohen, no. Mal Walsh asks, "How is Joe from the record shop after his problems?" Well, he's still having problems. I asked him. I said, people are going to be asking me how you're doing. What should I tell them? And he told me, just tell them that I'm doing well, but I'm under treatment. He's going for treatment. And that's what he told me to tell him. And he said if he feels like it at some point, maybe he'll let me shoot a video of him if he wants to update his situation. But I know for a fact that Joe Bazooka Joe from the record store appreciates everybody's comments, everybody's thoughts and prayers. So thank you very much for that. And I know Joe's very happy about that. Um, Rod Patel, hello. Found a nice clean copy of Ringo's Sentimental Journey yesterday at the boot sale. That's right. Let's have some props for Ringo, and in particular, albums that people don't usually listen to, like that. Alan C. Records. Hello, Alan. Says, top of the cloudy morning to you. Yeah, it's terrible out there. It's going to be, the weather's going to be miserable for the next few days. And of course, Wednesday, I got to get on a plane to go to Oklahoma. So, dreading it. And the weather's not good either. But anyway, Alan says, even though I ordered three different versions of the Now and Then single, two 7-inch and one 12-inch, all on different color variations, I have to admit they were way too expensive. Well, of course, they are too expensive. The prices are insane. I go along with that. But of course, we choose whether we're gonna buy or not. And of course, you've obviously chosen. Martin's going on about the Beatles and the Stones. Says if you like both the Beatles and the Stones and you can't choose between the one, then you aren't true Beatles fans. Well, I guess I'd go along with that. I don't know. Martin McGrath. Yeah, well, I'm not talking about a Beatley Tone and Beetle Babe. They're very good channels and good people. Jen is good and Beetle Tony is good too. I'm talking about the evil people, this twisted people that you like. What am I doing in Oklahoma? Well, my niece is getting married. My niece is getting married, so I'm going to be in Oklahoma during all the now and then drop and the now and then record sales and all that. I'll be there. I'm sorry about the gulping, folks. Morning cup of Joe. Morning cup of tea. Ah, yes, indeed. Good morning, Christopher 628. Woodland Goblin says, "How excited am I to hear the very first true stereo mix of She Loves You very soon?" I'm very excited about it. I would say, out of all the things that are coming out, the thing I'm excited about the most is the Red album with the new 2023 stereo mixes. And She Loves You is probably right up there as number one that I want to hear the most because it's my favorite Beatles song. Earth asked me, "Is it safe to say that you already have Hackney Diamonds in the same category as Sergeant Pepper and Yellow Brick Road by Elton John?" For me, yeah, yeah, but I love Elton John, and I love all his big songs. It's funny that the whole album, the entire double album of Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, has yet to grow on me in its entirety. See, that's the difference. You see, I play Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, and I love the classic popular songs by Elton John on that album. The rest of the album left me cold, kind of cold the first listen. But the Hackney Diamonds by the Stones, I liked every song immediately, instantaneously. That's the difference. I'm not sure how long a flight it's going to be. I think it may be around 3 or 4 hours, maybe. I'm not sure. Yeah, and Christopher, I am excited to have the Red album and the Blue album on CD. To tell you the truth, I really don't feel that I need the Red and Blue, the new Red and Blue on vinyl at all, especially due to the fact that it's just an extra disc. They're just giving you one extra bonus disc at the end. I'm almost thinking of canceling it. Almost. We'll see about that. It's the CDs that I'm going to be listening to definitely the most for the new Red and Blue. Definitely the CDs. Martin asked me, "Have I seen Mick and Bowie dancing with without the music? The dancing in the street, so funny." I didn't see them dancing without the music, but I had the misfortune of seeing that horrible video the day it premiered in 1985 when I was watching Live Aid. They had a premiere of Dancing in the Street, the video by David Bowie and Mick Jagger, and it was so embarrassing. Oh, I can remember that. David Bowie. It was the stupidest thing I ever saw. Most embarrassing thing. I need a cup of tea after this. Oh. So I want to see what the reaction to this morning cup of Joe is. If people like this, I may do this every morning. Well, there'll be some mornings where I can't make it, but I'll try. I may try to do this every morning. The biggest problem I have with doing this every morning, as you may imagine, if I do this every single morning, I don't always get my hair fixed. I don't always take my shower yet. I take the shower later. you know and I haven't shaved today. That's the only thing about doing the morning show is you gotta come on looking like a rat. So I really don't know about that. Hello, James. Thank you very much for the congratulations. um yeah, I'm really wondering about if I'm gonna I already pre-ordered the red and blue vinyl with the slipcase, and I'm starting to think, why am I doing that at all, really? Except to say I have it, in my collection. Why do that? I'm really wondering about that. I may go in and see if we can cancel that particular item. I don't know if that's going to work out. We got to try to see. Believe it or not, yeah, I'm thinking of canceling the vinyl, the vinyl of the red and blue. And I think the main reason I'm canceling it is because they didn't put. the songs, um, I don't know, chronologically mixed in between the new songs that they were putting on it. But then again, I'm sitting here thinking, one day when I get into the house I'm gonna live in, and we're gonna hopefully get into a house, a bigger space, and no neighbors around living with. I'm gonna be able to play more vinyl loud, and maybe I will like to play that vinyl with the new mixes. Who knows? Yeah. Do I answer the door during Halloween? No, I don't actually. I do not. I do not. Do not. Do not. I do not. Not because I'm a Scrooge or anything. Well, whatever the term is for Halloween, but I just don't. But it's been very different here. When I was a kid, again, the good old days. When I was a kid, the the doorbell did not stop ringing. It rang all day, morning, noon, and night, late night. Everybody was trick or treating. We were out to the dark hours. These days, I swear to God, nobody. I maybe one person, maybe the doorbell rings once, maybe twice. Nobody trick or treats anymore. And I live in a busy area. I don't live somewhere out in the sticks where there's no people. Beatly Tone, hey, Beatly Tone, Beatly Tone's Beatles channel. Yes, indeed. I know. Yes, indeed. Hello there, Beatly Tone. Thanks for showing up. We're glad you're here. The real you. Good to see you. George Wildheart. Hello. Doing great. I just have that usual morning morning throat thing. Try to get that gunk out of there. Oh, do I have a Beatles cover? I'm sorry, David Fishman. I missed your question. Do I have a favorite Beatles cover song? Now, do you mean a song that the Beatles covered? Well, my favorite Beatles cover songs that they covered would be "Twist and Shout" and "Money." Those are my two favorite Beatle covers. So, yeah, I have not pre-ordered the CDs of the Red and the Blue. I figure I'm just going to go to the store the day of when they're released and be able to pick them up, if not a day or two early, depending on my luck. So, what do I think of all the AI Beatles songs out there? I think it's disgusting, disgraceful, and I really wish they didn't exist. And I don't really listen to them. It's that simple. Um, the problem is that I'm afraid this is going to become so abundant that people are not going to be able to tell what's real and what's not. I mean, we all know, the diehard longtime fans will know what's real and not. But new people, younger people coming up to be Beatle fans, just starting out, may not know the difference. And they're doing the same thing with photographs. There's a photograph of John Lennon going around. It looks a lot like the real John, and he's supposedly eating a taco or something in a Mexican restaurant or something, and it's just not real. It's AI generated. But this is the kind of crap you're going to have, especially photographs. I mean, photographs bother me more than music. That they're going to have photographs, and you're going to see, oh, here's a picture of, you know, uh, Rodney Dangerfield hanging out with Mick Jagger and David Bowie. And meanwhile, no such thing ever happened. But the AI is going to be so perfect that in the photograph, you're not going to be able to tell. You know, Amazon says that for Christopher that his orders won't get here till December 27th. Wow. No, I don't think so. Don't think so. Cheers, everybody. The only thing about doing this is I say this hot cup of tea that I start out with only lasts about a half an hour. I know somebody told me you can buy, and I think I will at some point, not now, but at some point, some kind of thing that you plug in and keeps your cup warm. But Even if it kept it warm, by the time it only takes me a half hour worth of sips to finish it. It's not going to last an hour and a half unless I have like a beer stein or something that big, filled with decaffeinated green tea. George asked me, "Have I listened to any of them?" I heard one and it was weird. Are you talking about the Beatles AI false songs? I did hear Paul McCartney's song "New." That was supposedly like a Beatles. They made it like a Beatles song or something. That it sounded actually not too bad, but I don't like it in principle. I'm against it. Now, see, there's Beatly tone. Sometimes I feel like a jerk because people say something that's so obvious. Beatly tone says a thermos flask will do the trick. Fill it up with tea, and it'll last the whole live stream. Yeah, but it's not a cup. A cup. You need a cup. Cup of Joe. Okay. Yep. Same. Sir James Bowie. Yes, indeed. Hello. I'm going to be over there doing a live stream where I'm going to be ranking my 10 favorite horror movies, and it's not easy. So I have mine ready to go. I just got it done before I came on here, so that's later. Um, if you had 5 minutes with Paul and Ringo, who would you choose last? Well, obviously, I'd go. I'd want to hang out with Paul. Now, people can laugh at what I'm going to say, but you just reminded me. I had a dream last night that I was hanging out with Ringo. It happens. It was a good dream. Some of them are not don't go too good, but, thank you, Beatly Tone. As I say, that's why I have you here, Beatly Tone, because to show me things that I'm so stupid to realize. He says, "No, but if you have a flask of hot tea that lasts the whole stream, you pour it into your cup as you go." Right, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Okay, but then again, how much tea do I have to make? That's another thing. How many tea bags do I have to put into one of those thermoses to have enough? Because I'm gonna wind up spending a lot of money on tea, that's for sure. Okay. Mr. Lennon Axel is planning to get the 12-inch red vinyl at Target and the 6 LP deluxe set, then the rest little by little. Yeah, I hope to be able to visit a Target in Oklahoma, but I got to tell you, the release date I think is the actual day of the wedding. So I don't know. I can't imagine me going to Target, but maybe I could go to Target early in the morning. Go to Target at like 9 or 10 a.m. and then the wedding isn't until like 3 or 4 o'clock or something. Good morning to Rocky O. Hello, Rocky. Um, uh, okay, Sir James, enjoy breakfast with the Beatles over on Sirius X. Imagine leaving a cup. You rather go to breakfast with the Beatles rather than stay here for a cup of Joe? I can't believe it. Mhm. Actually, it's okay. I can definitely believe it. So it's not a problem. A horror film suggestion: Where Evil Lurks. It's out now. What are you talking? A new movie? It's a new horror movie. Yeah. Beatly Tone says maybe I need a couple. I'm thinking. Tone. This may sound crazy, but I don't know what your schedule is like. You're retired like me. We could do a morning get together every morning. I don't know if you want to commit to that. We could do a Beatly Tone and Mr. Mayo series where we both get up and do this, not every day maybe, but once, some mornings. So it's morning for me. It's 1 in the afternoon for you right now. I mean, tell me how you feel about that. But I can't imagine committing to such a thing. You got a life, but I keep forgetting it's not early in the morning for you. You're not just starting your day, right? It's the middle of your day. Yep. But then I can't call it Morning Cup of Joe anymore because it'll be Joe and Tone. So yeah, that's true. That's true. Mr. Lennon Axel says Target opens at 7 a.m. I'll be there at 6:50. Yeah, that happened. That's happened to me too. I've done that for many releases. I've gone to Target at 7 a.m. as soon as they open, and I've gotten what I want. But a lot of times, well, most times, if not every time, the morons working there don't even know what they have, and things are not on the shelves. You get there 7 a.m. when they open. There's nothing on the shelves of what you want. You got to find somebody that's like 15 and say to them, "Hey, can you go to the back and see if you have this?" And you hope that they're dedicated enough that they're going to try. Yeah, okay, I'll go back there. And you hope that they're really going to make an active search. You're not just going to say, yeah, and oh, sorry, no, that we don't. So, demon possession. Actually, I'm a little tired of demon possession, George. I don't know what, even The Exorcist, I'm really tired of that movie. I'm so tired of it. Is the cassette single of Now and Then only available at the Beatles website? I'm not sure of that. Right now, I know it is, but I'm thinking maybe later on. Okay, Beatly Tone says the clocks went back, so it's only a 4-hour difference. Yeah, but we're gonna have to turn our clocks back at some point, right? We're gonna have to turn our clocks back as well. Beetle Eddie says, I heard on a different channel that Paul saying they didn't change John's voice. He didn't say anything about his own voice. If they take AI and make Paul's voice younger, that will be uncool. Well, if they did it for maybe one, just one freaking time, maybe. But guys and girls, I'm not expecting anything from Now and Then. I'm expecting it to be a flop. Well, when I say flop, I mean critically a flop. I'm not saying that people aren't going to buy it a lot, but I'm saying I think the reception is. I'm expecting it to be. Well, let's be fair about it. I say a flop. In my mind, for me, I expect it to be a flop. But I think maybe it's going to be 50-50. I think some people are going to say, "Oh, it's nice, it's wonderful, all this," and I think other people are going to be like, "Oh man, this is weak." I really don't know. As I say, I haven't heard the finished product. And that's what we really got to dial. Uh, yeah, dial back the clocks. I'm looking at turn back the clock. That's what we really got to go by. And people are saying turn our clocks back this weekend. Tom and Yachty and so forth. So there you go. My cup of Joe is getting kind of cool, so I got to keep drinking it while it's hot. Um, okay. Who's somebody's Kenneth Sandstrom? Well, what do I think the Apple and Capitol Camp has planned for the next year? It'll be the Beatles' 60th anniversary of arrival in America. I don't know what they have planned, but I hope they have something planned. Quite frankly, I hope they do something for a hard day's night. It's hard day's night is going to be 60. Well, that's what I plan on doing, B. Letty. B. Letty says if the new song is a flop, they can always say it's not really a Beatles song. So that's what I'm going to use. With the different people say, the Beatles sucked. The Beatles had a bomb. I'm going to say it was just something they patched together. John wasn't here. George wasn't here. They patched something together. It's not official. I call I still think of course, it's a Beatles song. We're not going to get into that debate. Some people think it's not a Beatles song. Some people say it is. I say it is. But I could say, yeah, it's a Beatles song, kinda. But of course, on the technical side, technically and officially, it's not something they did in the '60s while they were together. Even the demo itself is from like 1978 by John. It's the late '70s. This is not '60s vintage Beatles. So it can work either way. Let's put it that way. It can work for you either way. Um, Tom Hunyadi says if the new song is great, then I'll go back and get the rest of the colors singles. I would I don't people are gonna say, oh sure, sure, sure. If I say this, but I don't want all of them. I just don't, you know. I might want the blue. I might want the light blue 45. I know I want the red 12-inch version and I want the blue 45, but I don't need like everything. I don't need the clear or the white. I mean really, I don't know. That's just that's just me. I'm not really feeling a completist with this now and then thing. Good or even if it is fantastic. See, now this is again what I don't understand about these chats. A comment just came up from Earth and it says you can use a thermos filled with hot water and have the tea bags on the side and use them as needed. Good point. But we have indeed discussed that a while back, but your comments only coming through now. Yep, 31 minutes and I'm pretty much out of tea. I got a few gulps in here. All right. Christian says, I think the song will be fine. The other two songs were good. I'm not expecting Hey Jude. Well, that's one way to rationalize, Christian. But I mean, I don't know why. I'm not necessarily talking about you, Christian, but I'm talking about like people in general that I deal with. I don't know why people are afraid to ever say something's bad by the Beatles or it's not that good or something. I'm not sure I understand that. Why? But we haven't heard it yet. But I mean, how do you know the song will be fine? There's no way of knowing that till you hear it. Unless you're setting your mind already to find it fine, regardless of the outcome. Um, well, I would say I don't go for this thing about promoting well when other people bring on other people's channels. Hey, check out this channel, check out that channel. You know what? I mean, it's one thing to have friends here that I associate with, like I don't know, Beetle Babe and Beatley Tone and Tom and Yachty and things like that. When people start saying, "Oh, check out," Bang goes the '90s. Okay, and the person's got enough publicity. Doesn't need me. You know, so that kind of thing. The Red Album sounds great. I saw her standing there amazing with the help from Peter Jackson. You've heard it. The feedback on Now and Then is that it's a great last song from the Beatles. Well, of course, I'll judge for myself, and other people will judge. You know, but let's see. Um, Woodland Goblin says, "I hope that Paul wrote extra lyrics to Now and Then." I thought that he did. I thought he did. He? Well, he has vocals. I know that. It can't be worse than Revolution 9. Revolution 9 is just an experimental bunch of tape loops that were thrown on the White Album, you know, as a bonus curio. I don't look at that as like one of their song. I don't even think of it as a song, to tell you the truth. I saw on different sites when looking to order the red and blue that it states they are half speed mastered. I hope they sound good. I know some half speeds aren't great. Where was this Now and Then song all these years? Well, you know the story with that. You know that. They worked on it, it's a demo from John in 1978. They were going to use it when the anthology came out. George Harrison did not like it. There's an interesting thing about this. I saw some quote from Olivia Harrison saying that when George Harrison said that he didn't like the song, what he meant was he didn't like the quality, like the technical quality of it at the time. And somebody else responded to this, and I don't remember who it was. Somebody that allegedly knew George Harrison and said, "Well, that's just Olivia, trying to be politically correct for the marketing." Because according to this person who knew George, and I forget who it was, he talked to George. George said, "No," to something to the effect that it's really not a good song. Period. So, is that true? Did this guy really talk to George? Is Olivia just trying to like make it look good? I really don't know. I hope Olivia is right. I like to think that George just didn't like the quality of the recording and the tape and all that. Okay, the news about the great quality of the new release is from engineer of the Red and Blue album, Miles Showell. Okay. Do I think this will really be the last new Beatles song? Who knows? There are many other things they can release in the future, even after Paul and Ringo are gone, that say this is another new Beatles song. They can do that. They may do that. For right now, they're calling it this one the last Beatles song. But of course, anything can happen in the future. One more sip. 37 minutes. I got out of it. All right. Astro Zombie says they're saying that Olivia is just doing a PR piece, saying George said just the quality. So there you go. At Target, they have the 6 LP box set for only 118.99. That's the cheapest I've heard of that. Let's see. George said it was effing rubbish. Okay. Beatly Tone says, I'm quietly optimistic, but loudly cautious. I could hear his voice saying it. I'm quietly optimistic, but loudly cautious. I do a terrible Beatly Tone impression. Christian says, now I'm concerned about the song. George was more quality control than Paul. And I'm like, well, listen, George didn't want Let It Be released either, and still not out. But I mean, yeah, I don't know about that. Does Target tend to cancel orders if they recognize such a price difference? I don't know about that. Wasn't there one other song that they had? I thought they had Grow Old with Me also, which, quite frankly, I hope they never do Grow Old with Me. And that could be another one that comes out. I mean, enough with that. I mean, it's on John Lennon and Yoko, the Milk and Honey album, and it's also a version that Ringo did on his album What's My Name, Grow Old with Me. So I don't really know. Um, yeah, boy, I got a busy few days ahead. Oh, I got a busy few days ahead. After this is over, I got to get in the shower, and then I got to do my morning walk. Sometimes I skip the morning walk if I got too much to do, and then I got to go over and do a show on another channel. So I got a lot to do today. So how many more songs like Now and Then do you think are hidden for later releases. Well, I don't know. Watching rainbows, people keep bringing up watching rainbows and Carnival of Light and so forth. Yes, well, it's a very hard Beatle. I can't get your voice down. See, first I have to get the actual accent down, which I can't nail your accent, and then I have to try to do like the actual tone of your voice. And, yeah, yeah, they could take a lot of John Lennon songs. They could take a lot of John Lennon demos and try to make Beatles songs out of them. Look, I'm not even going to go there. Right now, I'll just contend with Now and Then and figure that's going to be the last one for now. But who knows? We really don't know. So worry about the rest later. Very good, Charles Duncan. Very good joke. Very good. Okay. Tea is all gone. I need one of those big thermoses. But how much tea do I want to drink a day? I mean, green tea is supposed to be good for you. But how much green tea do I want to drink in a day? How much green tea should you drink in a day? Yes, indeed. I don't believe, in my opinion, I don't believe Woodland Goblin was singing anything to Paul McCartney when he did "Jealous Guy." Not at all. Completely about Yoko. Completely about that stuff. Just in my opinion. I don't know why Beatle fans tend to think so much that the Beatles are always thinking about each other and writing about songs about each other in their solo careers. I don't know why they think that. Well, again, my tea is decaffeinated, Patrick. You talk about not being able to sleep if you drink too much. Believe me, I have no trouble sleeping. The problem I have is staying awake. These people that are insomniacs, so many insomniacs in the world. It seems like everybody has insomnia, but I never understood that because I'm just the opposite. I have a hard time staying awake. I do. Well, that's because I get up early. Today I got up like 6:30, which is for me not bad. Sometimes I get up at 5 or something, and then around 9 o'clock p.m., 9:30, I'm like on the couch and I'm like, oh, I want to watch a movie or something, and my eyes keep closing. Last night I was trying to watch this movie called The She Creature, and it was very interesting premise, but I couldn't stay. I was kidding myself if I thought I could stay awake. I started at about 10:30 p.m. When I was tired. Excuse me. Ooh, belching now. Okay. See, this is another thing that kind of irks me a little bit. I get irked easily. Beatletti says they can only do it with Lennon demos and Paul demos because how would you get John's voice on them? Who says that every Beatles song? There's another thing. Who says that every Beatles song has to have all four Beatles on them? Right? You don't have to have John and Paul and George and Ringo on every single Beatles song. Even the Beatles, when they were still around, all four, making um, movies. Movies. Geez, I'm reading about movies here. I'm reading was She Creature when they were making music and albums and songs, singles. Even then, they weren't on every one of them. Come on, you know those Beatles songs are like the McRib. Whenever things get tight, they always bring it back. that's that's a good point. If Paul released a demo and called it Beatles, why would it be Beatles and not Wings? I don't know what you're asking, Martin McGrath, but again, one of your points that are kind of like, to me, convoluted. I mean, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm mixed up with that. Maybe I don't understand what you're asking. If you could clarify a little bit. I mean, this kind of thing now and then it could have been released. It could have been released as a John Lennon solo song, but instead, it's up to the four members. Now, when I say four members, I realize John and George are not here, but the Lennon estate and the Harrison estate have the decision when it comes to Beatles. So the difference is that, of course, if the four Beatle camps say yes, we want to make a Beatles single out of this, it'll be a Beatles record. Then it's a Beatles record. You know, if I understand correctly what you're asking, what songs are in the vault that they can release, both Beatles and solo? Lots of stuff. I mean, where do I named a few Beatles songs. Like Carnival of Light, like Watching Rainbows. Um, I don't know. They could take the BBC song "I'll Be on My Way" and spruce that up and make that a Beatles single. You know, there's lots of things they can do if they want to do it. Spring Heel Jim, Beatles forever. Yep, that's obvious. It's going to always be Beatles forever, and it really annoys a lot of Beatle haters. But gotta suck it up because that's you're never going to get rid of the Beatles. In my opinion, what's the scariest movie ever made? Texas Chainsaw Massacre is probably one of I call it more disturbing than scary. I always thought the original Exorcist was kind of scary. The original Exorcist has lost a lot of its, to me, lost a lot of its power, but that could be because so many imitators are around. We've seen so many demonic possessions movies since. Maybe that's why. Maybe, and I've seen The Exorcist 100 times, so it doesn't do it so much for me anymore. But yeah. Patrick says you need to do episodes about future unreleased songs or outtakes boxes in all four solo careers. Okay. Ah, very good, very good. Farrell McNulty very accurately says, and it's very astutely says, anything showing on the Hallmark Channel. That's what qualifies for a horror movie. Bravo. Boy, oh boy. Uh, you said, why do all four Beatles have, Martin McGrath says, you said, Joe, why do all four Beatles have to be on a Beatles song at this point? You implying a Beatles song at this point without John or without George? No. Yes, I am implying that. Yesterday has only Paul on it. Do you understand that? Do you understand that Ballad of John and Yoko has only John and Paul on it? Do you comprehend that? Do you grasp that, sir? Do you? Or can you grasp it perfectly well, but you just like pretending that you don't get it just to try to ruffle feathers? I don't know. I don't know. But Oh, he says, okay. Now he says, yeah, see what I mean? He writes down, and yes, all four weren't on every Beatles song. I get that. Okay. So I think what you're saying then is that you're saying at this point in time, maybe you need to, at this point in time, you have to have all four on it. Whatever, whatever. That's the thinking. Obviously, that's the thinking at Apple. Apple thinks all four Beatles got to be on, Real Love and Free as a Bird and Now and Then for it to qualify. But whatever, that's their thinking. It's not mine. So. Hello from France. Hello, France. I love this morning cup. He loves the morning cup. I was imagining that unfortunately, Paul will pass away. I don't see Nancy Chevelle making decisions on behalf of Paul or even Stella or Mary. I don't know who's going to be in charge. Is it going to be Nancy Chevelle that's going to make the decisions for Paul when he's gone? Is it going to be Mary, Stella, and James? I don't know. I'm sure they've discussed it. I'm sure they've talked about it. Stephen Schnee is here. Hello. Hello, Stephen Schnee. What's the good word? You see, this is what's so stupid. Martin, you are stupid. You could. I'm sorry, man, but you could write to me all you want later on in the text and say, "Why are you bashing me?" Because you come up with such stupid things. Your convoluted thinking. He writes, "Okay, so if Paul releases For You and calls it the Beatles, with Sean doing backing, that's not Beatles in my universe. Not Beatles in my universe either. It has to. Don't you understand what I said 100 times? It takes all four Beatles camps, to qualify whether it's a Beatles song or not. You can't just have Paul put out For You and say this is a Beatles song, and all of a sudden it's a Beatles song because Paul says it's a Beatles song and nobody else agrees. It don't work like that. So what are you wasting your time and my time? Ugh. Yes, you get me wound up. It's good. I feel good. I feel invigorated. There's a line that I love from a movie called Frankenstein Must Be Destroyed. Peter Cushing says, I'm afraid that stupidity always brings out the worst in me. I mean, really. Boy, oh boy. Hmm. If Paul tours, do you think he will do Now and Then? No, I don't think he will. I have no way. I don't know any more than you know whether Paul would do Now and Then. I don't know. Just because I love the Beatles and I have a channel doesn't mean I know every decision or thing that goes into Paul's head. But you mean, can I see him doing it? I don't. I don't know. I don't see him doing Now and Then live, but I think Paul thinks of it as a John thing, and he has a special emotional connection because supposedly the last thing John ever said to Paul was, "Think of me every now and then, my old friend." So maybe that's the whole thing. Okay. John Alelo. Hello, John Alelo. John Alelo says, Mr. Mayo, I'm getting super excited. This is Now and Then weekend, red, blue extended versions. Let's all get pumped and show some love. Yeah, I'm excited about it. I mean, like as I've said, you don't. How often do you get these new Beatles releases that people can all share and have a communal excitement for? You don't usually get this, so I'm excited about it. Um, Hello, Henry. Henry's joining us. Now, I know Martin McGrath, if you're still here, and I hope you are, Martin McGrath can take it on the chin. I know. He dishes it out, so I know he can take it. So if anybody, people don't know the dynamic between Martin McGrath and me, but this is the way he is. This is what he does. He likes to ruffle feathers by his own admission. Not me. He by his own admission. He's admitted that. Says I like to stir the pot. I like to wind people up, he says. So who sings the main vocals in Now and Then? It's Now and Then was a John Lennon tape that he did in 1978. John sings the song Now and Then. It's the main vocal. But for this new release, Paul, I think, is going to add some vocals. Paul's going to sing with John on it. But originally, it was a John Lennon tape. Yeah. Henry likes when everything is cool and there's no tension. Well, I prefer everything to be cool with no tension. We all do. That's not reality. That's not life. I'm Mr. Reality. I deal with the realism, what it is. Sometimes I'm calm, sometimes I'm not. It's human nature. I don't know. Oh boy. Good for you. John Alelo says I'm starting to like the Now and Then single artwork. God bless you. I hate it. I will always hate it. Garbage. The Now and Then artwork on the single. That's how I feel about it. front and back, even with that stupid time clock thing or whatever the hell they have. Okay, Henry asked me, when I do my rant videos and I scream loudly, are you exaggerating to make it more flamboyant? Are you actually that mad? A little bit of both. Sometimes I'm not that mad when I'm making them, and sometimes I am that mad. But sometimes the yelling and the screaming to some people makes it humorous, and I sound like George Costanza when my voice goes up. So, some people get the rant videos, some people don't get them. Some people out there, at least one that I know, think that I'm embarrassing myself when I make the rant videos, and I don't feel that way at all. So, I've met people, a couple of women actually. I was at the Beatles Fest, and two women said to me, "I love your rant videos, Joe. I love them." So there's women that even like the rant videos. It's not for everybody. I'd like some opinions. It's okay. You can tell me. I'd like to know here now. Are there people who like the rant videos and people who don't like them? Say yes, I like the rant videos, or let me know if you don't. I'm curious. I take constructive criticism. Okay, person from France. I'm sorry, I can't say that name. I won a contest in '95 and was invited to the French premiere of Free as a Bird at the Hard Rock Cafe in Paris. The whole country was excited, and that's very good. Okay. See, Beatly Tone says about the rant videos. Comedy is based on exaggeration always. So Joe blowing a gasket. Joe, I'm laughing just the way he writes that. He goes, Joe blowing a gasket, whether real or fake, is great comedy. Yeah, and I know what you're saying. I think it is too. But but most of it's real. I'm not trying to say, I mean, maybe it'll be a little exaggerated for effect, but I am that annoyed. You know. Yep, the Now and Then documentary will be on Disney Plus. Oh, good, I have Disney Plus. But I'll have Disney Plus, but I won't be home when when it premieres. So, and of course, Henry says I went to get fast food a few days ago. They forgot the ketchup packets. I didn't want to go back in the drive, so I had to go park and go into the place and grab it and get back in my car. Right, it's annoying. I have a rant video right now. It's funny. I have a rant video right now. It's all ready to go. It's uploaded and everything. I just have to hit publish. And I don't know why I'm reluctant to put this one up. It's a rant video about medication and the doctor giving me the wrong medication. And you don't want to. I don't like talking much about medication and things like that. Beetle Eddie says you are a great comedian. Thank you. I'm glad that you recognize that. I like to have fun. You know, and if people don't recognize that, it's more on them than me, right? Charles Duncan says whoever's doing the new art it's crap like McCartney 3. Yeah, the artist Ed Ruscha did the art for that horrible Man with Then single cover. He also did the Die for the McCartney 3 album, which I like I like that. It's still he has a very simplistic approach, but I do like the Die on McCartney 3. Carl Tweed, hello, says, hi, Joe. I enjoyed Rachel's stream with you and the other guests last week. Yes, I was a guest on Rachel's Ghost. It goes back a few days if you want to check it out. It's always fun on there. But even though it's annoying, Henry says, I sympathize deeply with the poor people who have to work these miserable retail jobs. It's soul crushing. And I understand if they're not happy about it. I've done it as well. Well, so have I. I've worked those kind of jobs too. When I was 18 years old, 20 years old, you move on, you get a real job, you know? I was miserable at my post office job in my 30s, 40s, and 50s. What can I tell you? Um, you know, but yeah, hello, Rain Blaze. Astro Zombie says the rant videos are okay, but if someone has a video, I'm not interested in it. It's very easy to just well, if somebody has a video I'm not interested in, it's very easy just to skip it or not watch it. Well, see, interesting Astro Zombie because I'm interested. I'm always very happy that you're here. You're one of my best viewers. But I always wonder, like, you say you don't like the Beatles. You're not a Beatles fan, and you're not too keen on the rant videos. I wonder what you like. But I'm glad you're here every day. Every day. Joe, which John solo song would you love to see Paul record? Well, you know my answer to that. None of them. I don't like when Paul does John songs. I don't like it at all. That's just me. You know, none. Okay, the man from France says there's a theory about the cover. It's a lenticular cover. You have to slightly move the cover to see the famous Beatles on the balcony cover. Don't know if it's true though. Now, could you imagine after all the complaining we've done about the now and then cover, how inferior it is? Could you imagine if we get it, we find out, oh, it's so cool when you do this, there's pictures of the Beatles on the balcony. That would be a good cover. But still, it's not very eye-catching to people. Just look, people are not gonna it's not gonna catch the eye with just seeing the words on it. Henry says, "I think Paul would do a good version of Revolution." I don't. I don't. I think Revolution is John's baby all the way, John's vocal all the way. The same, I'll give fair play to Paul. The same way I think "Oh Darling" is all Paul's baby. John foolishly said, "I think I could have sang "Oh Darling" better than Paul." No, no, John, I don't think you could have. But yeah, yeah. So that's how I feel about that. Revolution is John's. Excuse me. Who else apart from George helped Ringo write his songs during the Beatle years? I don't know. I don't know about that. There you go. Astro Zombie says, I like the record store reality videos, the horror movie chat, and I've been watching you since like 2013, and you're a good guy. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm good. I'm realistic. I mean, I could sit here, I could come here and always be perfectly 1000% fake and cheerful all the time, and nothing's ever annoying me. And every who wants that? If you want that, go. You're not really a friend. um, I can't stand people that always have to be optimistic, positive all the time, always uplifting, always smiling because they want to get a lot of people, but they're phony. You're phony. I don't like the phoniness. I don't. Um, yeah, the anthology doctor. Yes. Okay. The anthology documentary will be on. All right. Whatever. I can't understand that. I'm sorry. Okay, Astro Zombie, I understand you, and I understand you're not a Beatles hater. I understand that. Stephen McVeigh says, "Good morning, Joe. Sorry I'm late. Just got back from the jazz festival to find out that everything I wanted from the Beatles store is out of stock." It's funny because things were out of stock, but then they think they put them back in stock later. I think some of them. So check later. Look, Henry, I love Paul's vocals on Helter Skelter too. There's just some songs. Another thing about Revolution is more John's mindset. Paul doesn't really want to delve as much into that kind of thing. So I look, I'm not going to belabor this. We have a difference of opinion, and that's fine. I don't like the idea of Paul McCartney singing Revolution. I don't like that idea at all. Subject matter or vocals. I don't like it. We are all Joe's friends, Patrick say. Yes, thank you. And a few times Woodland Goblin has said, I hope AI makes Paul's voice younger sounding on now and then. Well, I don't know about that. We'll see. Hence your name, Mean. See, that's the problem. That's the problem. I didn't choose the name Mean Mr. Mayo because I'm mean or anything like that. I chose the name because I was looking for something and I went with Mean Mr. Mayo. That's all. It had nothing to do just because it was Mean Mr. Mustard. Woodland Goblin says it's better to be nice to everyone, even if it's phony. I don't agree. I'm sorry. I'm not saying you should go out of your way to be nasty to anybody. I'm not saying that. I get that a little bit, but I don't like phonies. That's the way I've always been. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm not really sorry. I have no shame in it. It's an expression. I'm sorry if it hurts your fifis, but that's the way it is. And Woodland Goblin, are you always nice to everybody? I don't know about that. I don't know about that based on our chats here. Michael Jackson fanatic says your red videos are hilarious, just like your Anthony video and store videos. It's about your sense of humor, and I'm also not a Beatles fan, but I've enjoyed watching all your videos. Thank you very much. That's nice to hear, a Michael Jackson fanatic. I know you've been here a long time, and I always appreciate whenever I see you comment, and that says a lot to me. That means a lot to me. People say I'm not even a real Beatles fan, but I just like you. I enjoy you and watching your videos. That's so nice to hear. Hello, Robbie, Detroit's Tiger Man vinyl. Earth says truth is harsh sometimes. That's the way it is. Don't get me wrong. There's lots of times where, like, if I feel like there's something nasty or negative that I want to say to somebody, and it happens all the time in my mind. I know it's better to keep my mouth shut and not say things sometimes. Sometimes I will and sometimes I don't. Believe me, there's lots of things that I could say to certain people that I know that I won't say because it would hurt their feelings. I mean, it's not, don't get me wrong. Let's not bend this out of proportion. Astro Zombie says, I had my phone hooked up to the Bluetooth in the work van once. Three coworkers were in it. I accidentally hit a YouTube notification. They experienced their first Mean Mr. Mayo rant. I hope it wasn't the one where I was ranting about trying to find the Rolling Stones album because that was pretty heavy. Everybody, smash that like button. It says, smash that like button. Hit the dollar symbol if you want. I know nobody wants, and that's okay, but that's up to you. It's not, obviously, it's not essential. Obviously, it's not a requirement, but some people don't always know it's there. So you remind them. Duncan Moss says, I'm looking forward very much to this book about the Beatles roadie, Mal Evans. Yes, me too. That's going to be good. I noticed there's not much talk about Beatles books. Not on here, not much. No, I did a couple of interviews. I mean, you might want to check out. Gotta go on the playlist. If you look at playlists under interviews, you'll see a couple of book related things there. Not just the Yoko book. No, I did one on the Laurie Kay, who was the last person to part of John's last interview. She wrote a book that's going to be out in December, I believe, this year. And also Charles Rosenet, who did the book of Beatles lists. So there you go. Yeah, I know. Well, people naturally, they naturally gravitate towards the nicer people. People that always say what they want to hear. People that are always, giving you phony compliments and things like that. People love that, and that's the human nature. Whatever. There's a saying out there that being honest will not always win you many friends, but it'll always get you the right ones. And that's how I feel about it. I don't need anybody in my life who just wants to hear, fake stuff all the time. What's the point? Yeah, that's funny. John Alelo talks about not Norman Smith, Philip Norman, right? Philip Norman has a new biography out on George Harrison. Came out this week, and yes, it's funny that's getting overlooked. I don't know why. That's a pretty big book, and it's getting overlooked. I think it's called The Reluctant Beetle. Which is one of the reasons why George is my least favorite because he was a reluctant Beatle, and if he didn't like it, he should have, like, just stayed in school, and he should have been an electrician or something or whatever he was gonna do, or, maybe drive the bus that his father used to drive a bus, I think. So, he could be a bus driver if he didn't like it. I'm sorry, I don't the Beatles was a wonderful thing, give me a break, you know what I mean? Oh, yeah, I know the whole thing. It took a toll on our nervous systems, you know. Well, whatever, whatever. I wouldn't mind some of that fame, some of those women, some of that money. Come on, come on. I realize a lot of people say it's not everything. Just look at look at Matthew Perry who passed away. He had everything and he wasn't happy. Now there's a beautiful. I don't know how to do this from Robbie Detroit. Thank you so much, sir. It says love the show. Thanks, Joe. Thank you so much. I appreciate that help. Thank you. It really means a lot, and it helps a lot, because I'm not working anymore, and I'm on retirement, and this and that, and haven't gotten Social Security yet, so that helps. Thank you. I know a lot of people feel funny about that. Nobody's oh, geez, somebody's in there begging for money. Anybody who watches my live streams on a regular basis knows that I don't spend hardly any time. 99% of them, I don't say anything about this at all. I mean, that's be honest. Just that's the reality. But once in a while, I try because people don't always know that it's appreciated. People don't always know that the dollar symbol's down there. So maybe I'll mention it once in a chat in a live stream. It's appreciated. It helps because now the money whatever I generate from these videos, from the work that I do here and the time I spend here, it helps very much to supplement bills and things. There was a time when that was just all purely like, for Beatles stuff, but now it helps. So anyway, thank you very much, Robbie. Let's see where we at. Uh, Astro Zombie says, from what I've seen, the 70s and 80s, George Harrison seemed to absolutely hate the Beatles. Imagine hating the biggest band of all time. Well, I know how he felt. I understand how he felt, that it kind of took a little toll on him, made him, it took a lot. He always talked about his nervous system. It affected my nervous system. Let me tell you something, George. Well, George is up. Let me tell you something, George. You should work for the U.S. Postal Service. You want to talk about your nervous system? Your nervous system will be shot more than being a Beatle. And I'll tell you something else. Not nearly as much adoration, appreciation, love, and money. So that's how I feel about that. My heart bleeds for celebrities. Bleeds, you know. I must say, Jamie says, I must say the Now and Then cover has been growing on me. Do you feel the same? No, I think you know. Come on, you heard. If you didn't hear me, no, I still hate it. I still hate the cover. I always will. I hate it. Thank you, Robbie. Thank you. Uh, we need a rant video about this nervous system business. Yeah. Zappelcore says complaining about their stress and their nervous systems while being interviewed in their 40-room mansion. Ha ha ha. Yeah, absolutely. Your funniest video was when you had this nightmare where all your collections were gone. Then you found it. It's a three-part series I did. If anybody wants to, you have to search for it. Called, what was it called? I think it was called Digital Downloads. Oh, I can't remember exactly. Digital Downloads Part 1, Digital Downloads Part 2, Digital Downloads Part 3, something like that. Yeah, Henry says, I can't stand seeing Beatles posts on Twitter because there's always some attention-seeking hipster saying Beatles are overrated. Well, of course, everybody knows that's ridiculous. They're not overrated in any way, shape, or form. Good morning to John Moreno. Patrick is Patrick Sweden says, um, Friar Park is as big as a city. Yeah, funny stuff. Do I have my phone with me because I know there's gonna be an alarm that's gonna go off soon. I'm gonna have to go soon, much as I don't want to. I'm only gonna be able to stay here another 6 minutes or so, I think. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I know, Pirate Gamer Boy. Did your record store ever get in that digital kiosk that was promised in part two? Right. Patrick says, Joe, you should do a video about Friar Park. So, not many people know anything about George and Friar Park. Yeah, including me. I don't know much about it. So, you know. Charles says the Beatles are the soundtrack to our lives. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed, you do. No doubt about it. Yeah, I was thinking of that too. Pirate Gamer Boy says I saw the Now and Then cover. I don't mind covers like the One album. But this is just so boring. Some people trash the rock and roll music cover, but like that far better. I love the rock and roll music cover. The rock and roll music cover is the most underrated cover of all Beatles in my book. I love the rock and roll music album cover. The only thing I don't like, there's two thumbs in the corner. You didn't need the thumbs, the hands holding the album, but the picture of the Beatles with that kind of foil look and the blue suits and everything, and the rock and roll music thing, I love it. I love it. It's an underrated cover. It's a beautiful cover, and I don't care what people, including the Beatles themselves, thought. I mean, Ringo didn't like the rock and roll music cover. John didn't like the rock and roll music cover. I love it. And before anybody says it, I'm going to save you the trouble. People are going to say, yeah, but the Beatles weren't about the 50s. The whole thing looks like the 50s. The Happy Days logo and everything. That wasn't the 50s. But rock and roll was the 50s. Don't you see what I'm trying to say? People never look at it that way. It's not that the Beatles were the 50s, but rock and roll music is the 50s. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So it's like, if you were going to do like an album like, I don't know, people sing like space songs, spacey songs. You might have the logo look like Star Wars or stars or something like planets. Space music. Do you understand? It's not that the Beatles were the 50s. It's just that rock and roll music in general. That's what rock and roll looks like. You know. So that's how I feel about it. Can you read my comment about working for the PO? I don't know where that is. Who said that? John Moreno. John, I don't see any such comment in here. I don't know why. I honestly don't. I see good morning, Joe, and the next comment from you is sometimes the comments don't show for whatever reason. I don't know why that is, but okay. Bitsong 100 says, Joe, I bought the Lost in Space Blu-rays when they first came out. Thoroughly enjoyed the reworked Prisoners episode. I never watched any others. Is it worth digging into the cardboard to watch the rest? That's a matter of opinion. That's all I can say. That's all I can say. Some people like it, some people don't. I love it, but I grew up with it. My thoughts on John's song "Mother." I think it's one of John's greatest songs. Most heartfelt songs. But it's not the kind of song I want to listen to every day. I'm gonna have to leave now. I hate to say that because it's time. So this morning, if you want to, I may do this every morning or almost every morning. So be on the lookout because I may be doing this on a regular basis. Okay. Hello, Lee. I'm sorry I gotta go now. You just came here. Do I think we'll get the now and then leak on YouTube before the actual release date? I don't think so, but you never know if it's a leak. It's something that wasn't foreseen. So I'm gonna be going. Okay. What do I think of Paul's latest playlist? It's the same old thing. The only thing different he added is "She's a Woman." I'm tired of Paul's playlist. It's boring. It's repetitious. Yeah. Can you kill that for me by any chance? I know. Can you kill it for me? Sorry about that, folks. So long. The reason I gotta go is because there's an alarm on my phone and I have to do something. And I asked my girlfriend to kill the alarm for me. Um. So yeah, the playlist, and I haven't heard much of Paul's voice. All I heard him do was sing "She's a Woman" in the new tour in Australia. I thought he sounded decent on for "She's a Woman," decent for him now. Everybody's saying his voice sounds better now than it did like 4 or 5 years ago, so I don't know what to say about that. I think he's worked on it a little more. I think he's recognized his limitations. I think he's realized his limitations and stuff. I said I was gonna go, but now I might not have to go. It's a long story. It has to do with the alarm. I keep forgetting at 9 a.m. in the morning, you but I can wait. So I thought I was gonna go maybe another 5 minutes or so. Um, Coming Up is new on his list. Well, Coming Up, I've heard him do many times live, so I don't know about that. Maybe he hasn't revisited Coming Up in a long time. Maybe he hasn't done it in a lot in several tours, but he's done it a lot. Anyway, tell me that he's doing Uncle Albert, or tell me he's doing like something really. I don't try to think what's different, or tell me he's doing Cafe on the Left Bank from London Town. You know, and then I'll think about it. Because I don't I know what you're saying, Patrick. I just don't consider it new. Yeah, it's a revisit. Yeah, but I got so many things to do here. I really should go, and I gotta go soon. So I may have a rant video up if I decide to publish it or not. I mean, I don't know. I have one ready. Yeah, I've heard about that too. Yeah, Stephen Schnee says, like others in the vinyl community, I know someone who's heard now and then and saw the video, but he signed an NDA and can't tell me anything about it, but expect tears. Yes, I know somebody too that's heard. Yes, they say it's very sad. The new song, the video especially, the new video that's coming out for now and then is supposed to be very, very sad. Do I like Paul's song "Hi Hi Hi"? No, I don't like Paul's song "Hi Hi Hi." I love it. I love "Hi Hi Hi." I don't like it. Um, Tears in a sad way, I guess. I don't know. It's tears in a sad way, not a happy way. So that's it. I gotta go, folks. I'd love to stay here. Thank you all for joining me. I'll be doing these morning cup of joes very much. I also want to ask you to please go over and subscribe to my movie channel. My movie channel is called Mayo's Offbeat Movies. One more time, Mayo's Offbeat Movies. Please subscribe. Please join us in discussion over there. Please try to help me build that channel a little bit. I thank you all for being here. I thank Robbie for his generous help. And I will be talking to you all so soon, you won't believe it. All right. Take care. Bye.